In the world where 1 billion of people are struggling and fighting for visibility and relevance, I can surely tell you that the person who will win that battle will not be the loudest. But I assure you that the person who will win that battle will be a person who is most consistent, most intentional, and most importantly, most consistent. "75%, according to research, 75% of people, especially millennials and Gen Zs, it is said that they trust individuals more than they trust companies. They relate with individuals more than they relate with corporate brands. They may recognize Mark Zuckerberg, but they may not even understand what is Facebook. They may appreciate Elon Musk, but they may not appreciate or even understand the brands he owns. But here is a dilemma. There are many professionals, skilled, talented, experienced, and some of you are going to be sooner or later, that apart from their neighbors, their relative or friends, no one knows what they do exactly. And so because of that lack of visibility, it has costed them a lot when it comes to income, impact, and influence. The question is, are you on that road or not? Having remembered that I didn't greet you, allow me to say good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Today, I'm privileged to take you through what I would call a masterclass on personal branding and why it is important. You see, many professionals have lost opportunities because no one knows them. And many mediocres have gained a lot of opportunities because everyone recognizes them. And some of you are going to be either of those professionals. You have to make a decision today of the person, either the person who is going to get opportunities they deserve, or a person whose opportunities are going to be taken because they're not recognized. But for you to tell me to take you through the importance of personal branding, it would be very presumptive to proceed without us first understanding what is a personal brand. Do you know what is a personal brand? Do we know what a personal brand is? Yes. Yes. So, how you portray yourself. Okay, that's close an idea. So I suppose and I suggest that from today, all of you will live today having a good grasp of what a personal brand is. Now, a few times I wake you up, and how I usually wake you up, I'll say 1, 2, 3, and I'd expect you to clap once. Can we try that? 1, 2, 3. I need it to be in sync and at the same time. 1, 2, 3. So every time I would say 1, 2, 3, it means one of you would be looking like they are praying for me or attempting to pray for me. Please do not call it dozing because it's rude. So, a personal brand is the intentional perception about your value in any given society. Others would define a personal brand as the perception people about you, as the perception people have about you in regards to your value. And this is usually determined by you intentionally or unintentionally. But I want you to take a note that when it comes to personal brand, there are many people who have misconceptions about what a personal brand is. So before we define what is personal branding, then let's first understand what is not a personal brand. Number one, people mistake fame for a personal brand. Fame comes from being known by a mass of people, which, depending on what you do or what you did, makes you either popular or unpopular. So both the popular guy and the unpopular guy, they are what? They are what? Famous. And then another group of people confuse reputation with a personal brand. Reputation is what you are known for. You don't have to be famous. It could even be only your mother, your father, your grandchild or grandchildren. Of course, you don't have grandchildren. Your grandfather or grandmother that knows something about you. What they think of you, that is your reputation. You could even have a reputation of being known for nothing. You could have a reputation of sleeping, overly sleeping and dozing. That's your reputation. So a reputation could be positive or negative. I've just told you, fame could be popular or unpopular. Let's move together. Let's move together. Fame could be either or, and then when it comes to reputation, it is either positive or negative. And then, ladies and gentlemen, we also often confuse presence with personal brand. So some of you have a following online and you are shown that is a personal brand. Just because you've gotten a good number of views, you think you have a personal brand. And it becomes more tempting if you're actually both famous, you have a reputation, and you also have a following online. And most of you have been told for you to create a personal brand, you need to participate in clubs, associations, and professional gatherings. And so your presence in Rotaract, you assume that you are building a personal brand. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to suggest to you today that a personal brand is not presence. Because just because you're in the room, don't assume we know your relevance. Some of you, if we ask anyone here, we know about how stupid or clever, how funny you are, or maybe we know how a womanizer you are, but we don't know any value that you bring on table or in this Rotaract club. So do not confuse a personal brand with praises. Are we together? And then someone would ask me, so if that is not a personal brand, then what is a personal brand? I'll say together. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. A personal brand, therefore, is what you're known for that can solve someone else's problem. Ash, I want you to listen to me. If you have skills that cannot solve a problem, you do not, and we don't know about them, we don't have a brand. So meaning, for you to have a personal brand, you must have some value, and we must know about that value. Are we together? You may have an experience, a skill, or a story, and we may know it, but a story also can make you famous or popular, or just give you a reputation. But for us to say you have a personal brand, you have to first recognize, or we have to first recognize the value you have and you can deliver in a given community or in a marketplace. Because some of you are still students, and some of you I think I can even give birth to. I am not as young as I look. But I want to suggest to you, the world you're coming into, in the marketplace, you are primarily paid for value, not time. Some of you think you're going to get a full-time job and you're going to be paid when you get a full-time job. But I want to suggest to you, you are primarily paid for value, not what? When I was in judiciary, I wasn't paid bad. By the time I left, my average income was about 10 to 15 million. But these days, I can get a speaking gig and I'm paid 3 million in 1 hour. Are you following me? So it is not, but for the 10 million I was paid in judiciary, I was paid to work for 30 days. Meanwhile, let me tell you, in the judiciary, I was paid 600,000 when it comes to salary. So the 10 million, if any one of you have a father or mother that has worked in government, they will tell you money is not in salary in government. So sometimes when we say we had an average income, it is not that was our salary. It is allowances, it travels, it sitting on committees, sitting allowances, etc. projects, and so on. So I was paid actually 600,000 to work for 30 days. These days, if you're going to make me talk more than an hour, unless I'm doing service, even if you pay me 600,000, I don't show up. So either I come and do free of charge, or that is an hourly rate. So I'm going to remind you again, we are primarily paid for value, not time. But I also want to bring it to your attention that value has two types of value. We have what we call extrinsic value. Now, extrinsic value is what is going to open doors for you. Extrinsic value is our perceived value of you. Extrinsic value is what we think you can do. For us to give you a contract or to give you a job by head hunting, it is dependent on what we think you can do, not what actually you can do. So every one of you, if you want to open doors without knocking at them, if you want people to open doors for you and then call upon you to come and enter, you need to build a personal brand, especially communicate your extrinsic value. Now, when the doors are open and you're seated at the table, intrinsic value is what will keep you in the doors and on the table. Intrinsic value is what you actually can do. Whereas the other one is your perceived value. This one is your actual. Having understood what a personal brand is and what it ain't, then someone would ask me, then what is personal branding? Personal branding is the process of shaping, managing, and communicating your value to a public or a given target audience so that they can perceive you of a particular value. That when they say, your name? When they say Isaiah, we think and attach a particular value. And maybe when they say Sheila, we think that she's a good cook. I don't get my point. And to go to the gist of this talk, I want to assert and strongly assert, theoretically and from experience, that personal branding is not only important, but is a must for every serious professional in this generation. If you aren't serious, it's okay. We understand. There will always be room for mediocres. Choosing not to build your personal brand, especially in this generation of leverage, is choosing to be a mediocre. Because in any case, even if you're not a mediocre, we don't know you, so we think you're a mediocre. Because somehow we know you, but we even don't know you by your name. We know you by something. I am King something something. Have you seen people? Someone said, and your mother is there praying for Atoki Kabarega Ruth, and for you, you're here Queen C. And the prayers are just passing by, like the Ugandan economy. Okay, the Ugandan economy is going up. Anyway, I want to assert to you that personal branding is not only important, but inevitable for every serious professional in this generation and era. Why? Because, one, it will buy you power. Number two, it will make you attractive. And lastly, ladies and gentlemen, it will transform you. Let's look at these quickly. How does personal branding buys you power? We cannot understand how it buys you power before we understand how power is defined. What is power? For those who are doing leadership and management, you would know that power is the ability to influence another person's behavior or a course of events. When you are building a personal brand and you're putting your value out there, you're literally creating authenticity, credibility, and authority. When Lady Sheila, the one we talked about to be a cook, decides to put out and communicate her value with the recipes, and we use her recipes and they work for us, she will have power over us. And that's how, indeed, she becomes an influencer. Some of you in Uganda, you have people you call influencers, but they're just famous people. In no one area have they influenced you, not even your neighbor. And that is why in Uganda we have people we call celebrities, but we actually do not celebrate them. So I'm suggesting to you, my friends, that when Sheila gets to be known for, let me ask you guys, let me digress a little bit. Did you guys know that adding fresh eggs in a cake was a marketing stunt? In 1940s and 50s, when ingredients were sold, all that the baker needed to do is to add water and then put in the oven. But because people felt like it really doesn't feel like I am the one baking the cake, right? So they hired a psychologist. Let me tell you, I cannot dare to lie in a generation that I know has AI and Google. Would I? So you can proceed and ask ChatGPT, was adding fresh eggs in a cake a marketing stunt? And so they hired a psychologist. Why? The psychologist is known. And why? The brand that needed to change its things is known. And then they suggested that you need to add fresh eggs and eat raised cells. That is what a personal brand is. That is what they call power and influence. When you say now we are changing, we are not just adding water and the ingredients, but we shall also add what? Fresh eggs. And then people follow. That is power. Are we together? You want us to wait for the ones researching? Fact checking. Okay. But if there's anyone who has fact checked, you have fact checked and you have proven it is true. These ones in the Bible, they used to be called what? Doubting what? Doubting Thomas. But thank you, Sheila. Anyway. But with the power and the influence that you gain, it is going to allow you receive some level of attraction. That takes us to reason number 2, why you should create a personal brand. But to attract what? Reason number 2 for building your own personal brand is to become attractive, to have some power of attraction. But the question would be, what am I attracting? Number 1, you attract people. You know, most likely I'm going to live here with friends. None of you knew me before. Except my friend Sheila. None of you did what? So how did you get to come close to me? Because I have what? Okay, why did you call Sheila Price? Okay, maybe she actually has some value. Why did you call Full Figure? Okay, my point is, in the process of building personal brand, and even after building your personal brand, it will help you meet people you never dreamt you would meet. Number 2, not only does it attract people, a personal brand attracts wealth and money. Hey, and your age these days want money. So this is the only point I'm going to make. I'm going to give you an example. A few years ago, when I started out with making a few videos to build a personal brand, meanwhile, in the community I was before, I actually thought I had a personal brand. But in the general country, no one cared who I was. When I started out, barely would anyone accept to pay me just 200,000 for my public speaking classes. A full month and a half. 200,000, you struggle people to come on board. Right now, I have a program called Monetize Your Genius program, which helps people who have unique experiences, unique skills, and unique expertise, or a unique story to monetize what they know and make money from it. It's 12 weeks. It is $1,000. And people are applying for it. Is it that I didn't know what I know now? Probably, maybe, I've become a better person. Maybe. Maybe I know more, but that doesn't mean that I knew nothing then. Like, that I can come from struggling to pay me 100,000. That is literally 30,000. No, 30 US dollars. That now I charge 3.5 million, and there are people taking up a course 5 million, of 3.5 million, or $1,000. Yes, it could also be because I actually help them make money from what they know, with the proven frameworks that I've used and steps. But the point is, okay, you know the framework that I know, and then you go charge 3.5 million. I don't get my point. Me and you may know the same things. You may actually be able to help them more than me, but at that, they don't know you. So if I get 10 people to sign up for my course, how much is that? $1,000. Okay, 3.5 million times 10 people. Let's say by the grace of God one day, and I'm praying for that, God gives me 100 people. I live the Now, those are things I'm fighting. Didn't you hear my profile? You can monetize from here because that program is online. Meaning, actually, not me. I actually have one of the applicants I saw yesterday is in South Africa, and the other one is in Botswana. Ladies and gentlemen, I've told you a personal brand will make you what? Attractive. And for you, as university students or millennials or Gen Zs, it will attract opportunities. Opportunities that come your way without you looking for them. I am going to combine attracting opportunities and attracting money and give you a simple example. Recently, this was very practical in my life. Just last week on Wednesday, I am given an opportunity to go to speak to prudential agents. On the poster, I see that the moderator is a person I've been looking up to. And every lady here, please, every lady here, write this name down. You must follow this woman. She is one of the exceptional, unique, and far above anyone. She's one of the only 5 chartered marketers in Uganda. She's one of the only 3 international sales fellows in Uganda. And her name is Senyondo Rachel Musima. Musima Rachel Senyondo. Now, Rachel Musima, I used to look up to her because, sales, marketing, and so on, right? So I enter the boardroom, she's there. I have social anxiety. So I enter in the boardroom with my social anxiety, knowing that I'm going to meet a person I look up to. And when I enter the room, the first thing that happened, Rachel looks at me and she says, I know him. That one, I trust he will deliver. We had never met. And from that, Rachel gave me another opportunity. I'm speaking somewhere else tomorrow. What I'm trying to say, it will attract people, it will attract money, but it will also attract opportunities. You'll be somewhere and someone calls, I've been seeing you. Can you do this job? You'll be somewhere and the vice chancellor says, I've been told one of my students has very good graphics and a team member of ours is changing or is leaving. Can you replace them? But if you can do good and we don't know you, it doesn't help. The last reason why to build a personal brand. The process of personal branding transforms the beholder of a brand because it will make you and help you meet people that know more than you do. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. It will help you meet people who will challenge you. But in the process, because people know that you know something or you can do something, every now and then they will give you challenges that are intricate and exciting. And because you want to keep up the brand and the challenges, you learn more, you get better, faster, and more effective. You learn communication skills and personal skills and people skills even when you don't want to. You adopt a particular discipline because you have to keep up. Some of you dress the way you dress because you do not have a brand. The day you will build a brand, you will have to mind how you show up. So a personal brand also transforms the beholder of the brand. Now, ladies and gentlemen, having told you basically, because we don't have time to go into the nitty-gritties of a personal brand, that the reason as why you need to build your personal brand is 1, to gain your power. Number 2, is to attract the things we've looked at. And number 3, that it will transform you yourself. I want to suggest to you. Actually, let me first challenge you. Try get off your phones now. And I try to be present. Imagine walking into a room, afraid to meet a minister or a permanent secretary. And the moment you get into the room, the permanent secretary says, I know you. Because you never know who knows you when you're building a brand. Imagine walking into the interview panel and 3 of the 5 panelists say, I like your work. I love your story. At least one saying, I know her. But also, I want you to imagine now, 5 years from now, being somewhere, knowing better than many, having better skills and a better story, but earning less than all, and most importantly, not being recognized, yet they are. Why? They were intentional and were visible. So I would ask you today to make a decision to start building your personal brand. The good thing at your age, one of the advantages you have is that time is on your side. And all I want you to do is 3 things. Number 1, today, for those who are serious, I'm not speaking to like a dice and like cluster people, like I always speak to. Let me tell you how to recognize a La Class and a Lakadaisko person. Out of 50 people here, about only 4 are going to do what I'm saying. Why? The rest are what? Lakadaiska and La Classa. Just professional, accepting mediocres. But let me tell you, if you're one of the few that have chosen to be exceptional, to use the resources that you already have, because some of you already have social media accounts. Some of you are already in Rotary Club. Some of you are already in associations and other professional gatherings. So if you choose that you're going to do so, 1, I want you to audit your brand. And how you're going to audit? Start online. Google your name and see what comes. See how the world knows you. But also what comes when your name comes, because it might come. But what comes? If I met you, shook your hands, or you spoke well, you just look nice, you're stylish. So I get to know your name, and I say, Isaiah, I need to know this Isaiah more. When I Google Isaiah, what am I finding? Does that make sense? Because there is somewhere your name is going to be that you're not. But what is being said about you when your name comes up? Or when someone wants to defend your name that you're the right person of the position, and they say, let's check her LinkedIn profile, what is there? Some of you are there doing challenges of pomini just because you think you're young. I am not saying that you shouldn't. I am just saying, even when you're present on TikTok and Instagram, at least have a LinkedIn profile where you just build your brand. Number 2, when you're auditing your brand, I want you to ask not the people that are your friends, and start from here immediately we are done. Ask, what do you think I can do? Ask at least 5 people in this room. People who are not close to you. What do you know about me, and what do you think I can do? Number 3, put it on your status and just ask, guys, at least do it for fun. What do you think I can deliver to this world? And add, I am serious because I'm doing a self-audit. When you realize that you're known for purely nothing, or at least you're known for something, we go to step number 2. Define your brand. And when you're defining your brand, I will say it together. When you're defining your brand, all I want you to ask, number 1, what do I want to be known for? Number 2, what can I do given my experience, my story, and my skill set? And when I'm doing my Monetize Your Genius program, I tell people, you'll be shocked how much is valuable that you don't know. Let me shock you. Do you know that there are people who are between CS6 and University are called what? Do you know that they are vacists? Who will pay 20,000 to be taken through how to apply for a university, how to enter university, how to be oriented into Kampala? Even 50,000, even 100. But who knows that you can? What I'm trying to say, the struggle you've gone through, there's someone else who is striving to pass through it. And because they are striving to pass through it, you can actually build a brand around there. Remember, you still have an opportunity to rebrand or enhance your brand. That today you could be known only as a public speaking trainer, and tomorrow you're known as a knowledge-based coach. Or the other day you're known as an investment educator. Because every time you have a new story, as long as it aligns with what you want to be known for. So I've told you, you ask, what do I want to be known for? What can I do given my skill set, story, and experience? And lastly, to whom do I want to be known? Of course, if you want to be a celebrity, attempt to be known to everyone. If you want to have a personal brand, know to whom. Maybe what you might be of very good value. To a boda guy, you're useless as cow dung. I'm telling you, there are some things we do, and to the boda guy, useless as cow dung. Actually, they would rather cow dung because it's fertilizer. Are we still together? Yeah. It could be important in such rooms. It could even be important to the present what you do. But to the boda guy, you tell him, should I give you a sack of cow dung or I give you this guy's skills, and you take cow dung. So don't try to market to the guy to whom your value is cow dung. Does that make sense? And lastly, dare to start. So before the end of next week, Sheila, I'm going to be looking for you. Before the end of next week, Sheila, I expect you to either produce a brochure or whatever is easy for you, or produce a post, a blog, a video teaching something you know. It could be a brochure saying, let me take you through how to make your bed. What I'm saying, it should be in line with what you want to be known for. And if you do not know where to get what to talk about, look for someone who already has a brand in that line. And do what Vusi Thebenwayo says. Case, copy all, steal everything. Case strategy, copy what? All, steal everything, because the Bible says there's nothing new under the sun. So you can't say this is yours. I also know these things. Make sense? And ladies and gentlemen, there's a speaker called Maya Angelou. She says, do your best until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. Do your best until you know better. But when you know better, do what? Do better. So some of you, whatever you were doing was the best you could know or you could do. For now, I'm saying, after today, with the little you've picked from me, do your best until another person will come and you know better. Otherwise, I want to ask you and beseech you that always abide in faith, in hope, in love. But remember, love always transcends. Thank you.